Assalamualaikum and hi to everyone. My name is Wan Ahmad bin Wan Ahmad Atta. I'm from DPY cohort 35, student in KPJC. Today we are going to do assignment with type of synovial joint classification. Stay tuned. Okay guys, in this body we have 6 synovial joint. For example, hinge joint, pivot joint, plain joint, ellipsoid joint, ball and socket, and then lastly saddle joint. Okay, let's go guys, through them one by one. Okay guys, let's go with the hinge joint. Okay guys, in the hinge joint is a very simple joint. It allows movement only one axis, and then its structure prevent to rotation on this way or this way. The head of one bone wrap around the spherical head of the others, allowing a very stable rotation in this way. Hinge joint allow a flexion, and extension. Hinge joint allow the flexion and then extension. The best example of it is the elbow. Here the rotation on simplified skeleton, flexion and extension. So if the elbow only allow flexion and extension, how it is that we are able to twist the forearm? Well, let's take a look at the next joint, which is pivot joint. The pivot joint also allows rotation at only one axis. However, it rotates along the long axis. A clinical bone fits into a ring bone of ligament, like with the radio-ulnar joint just below the elbow. The cap on the radius bone fits nicely into this notch on the ulnar bone. The ligament complete the ring, holding the bone in place and allow the radius only to rotate. Inside of it, the result on the forearm is what we call pronation and supination. During pronation, the base of the radius rotates over and around the head of the ulna. No, this is an ulna and this is radius. The ulna stay relative still. Remember guys, the hinge joint at the elbow prevent the ulna from twisting. So all of that twisting happen at the radius. And by the way, the distal joint of the ulna and radius is also pivot joint. The combination of pivot at the top and the bottom create that twisting motion for pronation and supination. Okay, okay guys, let's go to another joint, which is a ball and socket joint. Ball and socket joint. The ball and socket is the champion of all joints. Its structure is just like how it sounds. A ball inside of socket. Ball inside the socket. This simple, effective structure allows it to move in all axes. Flexion, extension, rotation, and circumduction. The two ball and socket at the body is at the hip and at the shoulder. The hip has a deep socket, which gives it stability, but limits some range of motion. The shoulder joint has a shallow socket, which gives it greater range of motion, but take away some ability. Maybe that's why a dislocated shoulder is so common. Ouch! Okay guys, the next synovial joint is ellipsoid joint. The ellipsoid joint is very similar to a ball and socket. However, the ligament and its oval shape prevent the rotation. Okay, but it still has the ability to rotate on two axes, which allow flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, circumduction. Circumduction is a just combination of all the others in a acicular motion. The ball of an oval head also slides inside the socket. When it rotates along the wider plane, you can see how it whoops out to march from the socket. It slides in back to center. A great example of an ellipsoid joint is the wrist. Okay, next, the synovial joint is saddle joint. The saddle joint is similar to the ellipsoid joint, but the rotation is limited, mostly because of the bone structure. The structure of the saddle is very interesting. Both bone, we have a concave and a convex surface. Convex means the surface sticks out like a hill, and concave means the surface curves in like a hole or a cave. The action of saddle joint is flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, and circumduction. An example of a saddle joint on the body is the carpometacarpal joint of the thumb. The finally and the lastly is plane joint. The plane joint not really interesting as the other, but deserve our love anyway. Is that basically to flat each surface on the top of the others. This surface can glide and or it can rotate. They usually come in group, like the couple of the hand and the tarsal of the foot. Ligament hold this bone together, but might allow some rotation and gliding. The degree of freedom of plane joint is unisial. Okay guys, I have created one solution to you all can easily remember. It is he, cell, and is pipombat. This is a type of synovial joint. You can easily remember. Thank you. Okay guys, that's all for my assignment. Hope you guys can enjoy and understand my topic is type of synovial joint classification. Thank you.